This is Gene Adam, former lead singer of Iced Earth. Be sure to subscribe to Podcast and Stone, and don't forget, join our community on social media. Metal lives.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Iced Earth community, welcome to Podcast in Stone, the only podcast 100% dedicated to iced motherfucking earth. Today, we are joined by the bassist, Luke Appleton of Iced Earth. Hello, Luke. How you doing, sir?
Hello there. I'm all good. How are you?
I am wonderful today.
You sound wonderful. You sound hyped.
I'm talking to the bassist of Iced Earth. What is there not to be hyped about?
Right. Thanks for spending time with us today, Luke. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I was saying, it's good that we finally got to do this because we've tried a few times, but some things got in the way. But now here we go. It's going to be good.
Those things happen to be Christmas. Damn Christmas. Getting in the way of everything.
Unbelievable. Very selfish of them.
I was going to start with, I was going to say a few thank yous to people. Larry Tarnowski, you are awesome. Thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing your stories from the late 90s of the band, which included Something Wicked, Horror Show, and Live in Athens. Man, that was a cool interview, Chuck. That was killer.
Yeah. He's a great guy, for sure.
All the new members from our Facebook group and our YouTube channel, thank you so much for showing the support for the podcast. Really do appreciate it. I'm going to kick it off with a rather stock question. I don't like stock questions, but it's the only question I can think about starting. How excited are you, sir, for heading out to North America in a couple of weeks?
Very excited. Very, very excited. It's been a few years at least since Iced Earth has toured North America. I mean, the last thing we did in the States was the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise, which was amazing. It was like, wow, that's the first time I've ever done it. I mean, Schaefer and Iced Earth did it a few years ago. I think they did the first one, actually, the cruise, and he told me it was just like unbelievable. And he was right. It was like, wow. So that's the last thing we've done in the States. So touring wise, I think it's very much the time to do it again. I think a lot of the fans are really hyped up for it. We're really pumped up for it. It's very, very exciting. We've just had a killer run in January touring Europe. So we're very, fresh, ready, and, well rehearsed, let's say that. And, we've got a lot of cool tunes to show for the American crowd. So I think we're gonna give them a good show, that's for sure.
Now, without spoiling anything, is the North American set list going to differ from the European set list?
Well, because we've discussion.
Because we've all seen the European set list, so we know, we know you've played the big ones like Stygian and Storm Rider,
the Wicked trilogy.
Oh,
yeah. I think some of those things. I mean, such the earlier stuff, like you say, Stygian, Storm Rider, Angels Holocaust. I think a lot of the diehard fans have been missing that older material. And we were doing something we were doing last December off Burnt Offering.
Yes.
So, a lot of these diehard fans have been really wanting something from the earlier stuff from Iced Earth, so from those first 3 albums. So we were really happy we could dig them out. And you could see it on people's faces. They was whoever didn't look online and look at the set list, the people at the crowd, at the show, they were surprised to hear those songs. They were like, "Oh shit, here we go!" The old stuff, man.
I am for one. I really do love being surprised at shows because you'll get I'm usually the first one in line. I'm usually 6 hours early. And Iced Earth show is standard for me. I have to be first in line. I have to be at the front, in front of you. Usually, you're usually in front. I'm like, yeah. But usually what I find is at the front row, the crew will tape the set lists to the stage, right?
Yeah.
And you get all the people at the front taking photos and looking. I'm like, why are you spoiling it for yourselves? What are you doing?
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I like the element of surprise when you're at a gig and you don't know what song's coming next.
I'll give you an example. You played the Headbangers tour in 2016. You come over to the UK, and I can't remember what song. You went from one song directly into bloody Red Baron. I was like, oh my god! Because Glorious Burden material is very kind of rare to hear at the moment. I've noticed it's not really in the set list very often. So when you knocked out. I know Decoration Day gets a lot of nods, but
Yeah.
like deep cuts like Red Baron, I'm like, oh my god, Red Baron. So that was nice to hear, man. It's good. I like to be surprised, so that's why I said no spoilers, because I don't want the North American fans to be spoiled. But they're probably gonna spoil it for themselves, because they can't wait. They can't wait, can they?
Yeah, but it's gonna be similar. But there's discussions about throwing the odd other song in there and whatnot. I mean, the set list is very heavy off Incorruptible because it's the Incorruptible tour, obviously. But yeah, I think we've done pretty well of picking songs from the back catalogue as well, and things off Dystopia, and so I think they're gonna be happy. So don't look at the internet, just be surprised, everyone.
Yeah, Chuck, don't look at the internet.
I'll put on our Facebook page. Anybody wants to know the set list, they have to message me. I won't spoil it for anybody.
Yeah.
And you're going to 2 shows, right, Chuck?
I'll be at the first 2, and I'm dwelling on Cleveland the next month in March. We're gonna see how that goes, but I'll be at the first 2 for sure.
Sweet. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good to meet you, man.
Yes, you as well. Let's hear about your new EP before we get into the Iced Earth world. How does it feel to be alive? Can you tell us a little bit about the new EP that I just pre-ordered this week?
Yes, absolutely. So my new EP, How Does It Feel to Be Alive, is something I've wanted to do for quite a while now, because I've done a lot of acoustic work in the past couple of years. It's something I really enjoy. I'm very, very passionate about. I love playing acoustic and the rawness and the feeling of you can't hide behind anything. So you have to be on your game, but at the same time, it's just I have such passion for it because I just enjoy it. I enjoy the sound and everything about it. So this is a recording I've wanted to do for quite a while now, and I'm so glad I managed to find an opportunity to do it. So I recorded it all myself with my brother Chris Appleton. He did an amazing job. He was the producer and engineer, and this so it's 4 tracks, 100% Luke Appleton. My voice, my acoustic guitar, and that's going to be released on the 9th of March. 9th of March. There we go. Sorry, I forgot how to speak English then. So, but that's going to be released on 9th of March. I'm very, very excited to see what everybody thinks about it. So, yeah, very, very excited.
Everybody,
now, are these songs that you've wrote over the years, or are these all for recently new songs? One
song in particular was something I wrote a while ago, and I've just kind of grabbed a riff from there and just composed something new recently. So a little bit of that, but mainly the rest of the song, the other 3 tracks, they were made within the last few months or something. So I found an opportunity. I found a week where I could do some recording, so I got myself prepared, wrote some songs, went straight in, did it, and here we go. So I'm ready. I'm very ready for it to be out to the public.
And you'll be touring with Blaze Bayley to support that as well, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that'll be the first tour where I'll be playing these songs live ever. So I'm very excited for that. That's going to be in the beginning of April. So it's immediately after I finish the Iced Earth tour in the US. So I think there's actually a day in between the shows.
Wow.
So I fly to the UK, and then later on that day, or maybe the following morning, I fly over to Germany. So to do this tour with Blaze. So it's going to be great, actually. There's 37 dates all over Europe, up in Scandinavia, Eastern Europe. It's a good tour. So I'm ever so excited about that. I've toured with Blaze a few times now, and we always have a great time together. And the music complements each other a lot, and Blaze loves working with me. So yeah, it's going to be a great opportunity to promote this CD.
That's killer, man. It sounds like you couldn't be more busier, really.
The busier, the better, I always say.
To kind of like segue into something, you mentioned your brother, Chris Appleton, produced this EP. You also share a band with your brother called Absolva. Can you tell like the people listening what Absolva is and what what difference that makes to your usual kind of ice earth sound, what their difference is there when it comes to expressing yourself on guitar in this band. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah, I'm the guitar player of Absolva. So basically, Absolva. So my brother, he's the main guy. Chris, he's the main songwriter. He's kind of like the Steve Harris of the band, or John Schaefer of the band, if you will. Me and Chris were in a band before I joined Iced Earth, and we were called Fury UK, and it's the same drummer as well, Martin. So when I got the news that I was going to join Iced Earth, my brother didn't want to carry on Fury UK without me, basically. So that's when Absolva was born. He wanted a new name. He wanted to change the music up a little bit, and then obviously I went off and did all the tours with Iced Earth. A few years later, it just kind of worked. The scheduling between Iced Earth tours, it worked out that I could actually join Absolva as the guitar player. So that's what we did. And, somehow, because I'm juggling 3 projects at the moment, when it's my acoustic stuff, Iced Earth, or Absolva, somehow, some miracle, I don't know, someone's watching down on me or something. The tours all line up with each other. Like I say, it's like a day in between the US tour and then this European tour. So it all seems to fit really well. And Absolva is a project that is mainly driven by my brother, but I do a lot of the songwriting with him together. And it's to compare it, a cross between Iron Maiden and Megadeth. That's probably my best comparison. There's a lot of Iced Earth influences, shock horror, but I think that's from all of us, but definitely me. So yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of tours over the years, touring all around Europe, UK, and it's something we're going to be very busy with in between tours with Blaze Bayley and Iced Earth. So that's
nice.
That's it, and it's a very fun thing to do. It's always great working with my brother and the other guys in the band. They're like my brothers as well. So it's a very, very fun project to have.
How was it like? I don't know how to really word this, but how was it like? You're in Iced Earth, this massive band with a massive fan base. How was it forming a new band and climbing that ladder again? Because
it's interesting. It's really interesting because I go from one tour, with Iced Earth, and we're doing these huge places, sometimes arenas, sold out all over the world, packed out festivals or something, tour buses, luxury, bloody champagne, booze, women, whatever you want. You got it all. And then going, kind of doing the roots again. It's interesting comparing the two, but I don't actually know which one I prefer, which sounds really strange because I love the dirty rawness that is heavy metal. And sometimes going into those small, intimate clubs, right. I think sometimes those are the best shows that you can ever have. And then you go from the opposite end of the scale, you play these fucking sold out shows to, 5,000 people, and you just hear the fans singing louder than the actual guitars or the vocals. So I love both. So right. It's very interesting doing one from the other, but I think it definitely just makes me realize what I do for a living and what I've done and what I will do and what I've become, where I've come from, kind of thing. So I really enjoy doing both and having the opportunity to still keep on doing both.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Like, as coming from obviously I'm a musician as well, and I'm in a small time band. We've been going for about 4 years, kind of not struggling. Like, we play shows quite often, but it's very unlikely that we'll get a crowd really. I don't know whether that's the venue's fault, the promoter's fault. I don't know, but it's really kind of inspiring to see how you're juggling these projects and doing really well. I'm just like, I'm still fighting my way through, just trying to get.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of determination and commitment. And many years ago, I've played to a pub where there's one person in, and then but that one person could be the biggest fan for the rest of your life, and it just so happens that person actually stay with the band.
I always
You know?
I always say to my bandmates, you know, we have to play to one person as if it was 1,000 people.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that's how you impress people, is you just go 110%. Just
Yeah, exactly. It's that person could remember that show for the rest of their lives, kind of thing. So it's very important to grab everyone who's there, even if it's one person, 10 people, 1,000 people, like you say.
Great. Let's go back a little bit before pre-Iced Earth. What was your introduction to Iced Earth before you were involved? And then can you let us know a little bit about how you got into the band?
Yeah. My introduction to Iced Earth was when I was about 11 years old, I think. And I was just discovering music, really. I was discovering that I wanted to pick up an instrument. And I chose guitar first for maybe 16 seconds. And then I saw a bass on the wall, and I'm like, actually, I want to kind of try that out. So, and Iced Earth were one of the first bands that I was listening to at that time. I was juggling between Iron Maiden, Dream Theater, Iced Earth. I heard Melancholy for the first time, and I was hooked. And it was just like,
nice.
Wow, okay, this is like the sort of style that I want. So that was my introduction to Iced Earth. And then I first got to see them live in the UK when they were supporting Heaven and Hell and Lamb of God at the Manchester Arena. And that was the first time I saw Iced Earth. So that it just blew my mind again. So I started buying all the old albums, just every week. I get some allowance money and it goes straight towards the next Iced Earth album. So that was my introduction to this magnificent band. But to join the band was, it kind of came from my former band, Fury UK, touring with Iced Earth. And we all got along like a house on fire. I mean, all the guys at that time who were in Iced Earth, they were all really friendly with us. The bass player at the time would have been Freddie. He got along with us really well. Schaefer really took a shine to us. And we just all got along. It's like the kind of people you want to live next door to. That's the kind of friends we all found. And then obviously about 6 months later, Freddie decided to leave the band. And then the next morning, I got a phone call off John and the management team. So it was a very nice morning. It was a Monday morning. I know that for a fact because I was supposed to be rehearsing with Fury UK, and that got cancelled because of my phone call.
And you've never hated Mondays again.
I've never hated Mondays again. They're one of my favourite days. But yeah, it was a very nice phone call, very surprising phone call. But yeah, from that day, it changed my life forever.
Was it kind of like that movie Rockstar, where that film? I forget who's in it. What's his name?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, yeah. When he gets the phone call, it's like, "Hello there, it's blah blah blah." He's like, "Yeah, whatever." Puts the phone down. Is it like that? Like, stop joking with me.
I did have to repeat. It's like, are you serious? This is who you say you are right now. Yeah. But no, I didn't call him a wanker or anything. No, you're all right. But yeah, I did have to have a double take. It was one of those moments, but a moment I'll remember for the rest of my life, I'm sure. It was very cool.
What was the time period in between that call that Monday morning and your first show? Do you remember?
Not that long, actually. I think it was April when I got the call, April 2012, and then the first show was June. So it was a couple months or something. Wow. And the first show was actually a few days after my birthday as well. So I was like, okay, this is cool. Very nice birthday present.
I can imagine you had a lot to learn in that time.
There was, because we had to prepare for Kourion, live in Ancient Kourion. So the first draft set list and extra songs, I think there was about 40 songs. Something. So it was like, I had to prepare. And the first tour I did, we were opening for Volbeat in North America and Canada. So those were my first shows to warm me up. And then they tell me I'm going to do this friggin' live DVD with pyro and everything else. So it was cool. It was like, throw me in at the deep end and let's see how I can handle it. And, I'm still here to this day. So I think I handled it okay.
That brings me to that's a segue into this question, basically. I'm probably going to guess your answer because I can't imagine a different answer. But like, how do you feel about your entry into Ice Earth history being live in Ancient Kourion? Like, that was your first official release with the band.
Yeah, it's a very, very nice first release. It was the day I saw that, we were, there it is. Yeah, man.
I have it on vinyl, I have it on CD, I have every version I own. But
absolutely.
Blu-ray.
When I got sent that, in fact, the first time I watched Live in Ancient Kourion, we were on tour, and Schaefer got sent the first draft of the whole thing. So we were watching it after one show. I think we were watching it after Switzerland or something. We all got on the bus. We were getting tanked up, and then it was like, "Okay, boys, here you go. Here is Kourion." And dude, I was a couple of those songs. I think Damien, I was just in tears, man, because it's like I've joined my favorite band of all time. I am center stage on this amazing amphitheater playing Damien, which is one of my favorite bass lines ever.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was a dream come true would be an understatement. Even for me, that's how I felt at that time. So Kourion, I'm extremely proud of, and it's one hell of a first release to be in a band.
I don't know if you remember meeting me at the Plagues VIP at Islington Academy on the Plagues tour.
I think so.
You probably meet a lot of people, but like I did speak about how what you feel about going from being a fan to a member, and how I don't think I could do that. I'm a drummer, so if John like sees me play or whatever, and then phones me and goes, "Joe, we want you as drummer," and I'm like, you want me to replace Brent? You want me to be? You want me to replace the God? I can't. No, I can't. Like, I'm no Brent. I'm sorry. Like, he's the reason I play drums, and there's no way I can replace that guy. Oh my God. But as a thing, like if I remember our conversation, like the whole idea of going from fan to member, I don't know. I'm so happy and so inspired being a fan that I don't know whether it will skew my view of the band being a member. If you know what I mean, like I don't want to lose the love for the band.
Yeah.
I know I might love the band even more because I'm in it, or I don't know. But like that transition, it just feels really strange to me because I love the band so much. I just couldn't imagine not loving that band from a fan perspective. Like,
Absolutely. No, it was something I was worried about at first. I mean, I had the advantage because I've already been on tour with these guys, opening for them with my former band. So I got to know them to a point. I mean, I wasn't in the band with them because that is a completely different thing. But I got to know them as people, and I was a young guy then as well. So, everything was just so alien to me. I mean, I've never flown on my own before, so doing stuff like that. So there was a lot of trust I was putting into these people, and I wanted to do it, and it was an opportunity of a lifetime. But I regard John and all the guys as some of my best friends right now. But I still have, with John especially, he'll always be my hero, man. So I don't think I'll ever take him off the pedestal, kind of thing. So he'll always be up there for me,
I can imagine John right now just watching and going, correct answer. Correct answer. I was just going to cross him off for this, but he gave the right answer.
He gave the right answer. He's still the man, He's the one. He's still the guy who wrote Dante's Inferno and the Gettysburg Trilogy. So
he's the guy. He's the guy who wrote the greatest album of all time, Something Wicked This Way Comes.
There you go.
Songwriter.
I'm not gonna be one of those. I'm not gonna be one of those fans that are like, the best album is this one because I said so. That's final. I'm not gonna be one of those. Like, I love every album for a different reason,
Absolutely, yeah. They're so diverse, and they're unique in their own right, in my opinion. They're all different. They're all cool.
And like when it comes to the band's history, like if you look at each album that individually, it's so the catalog is so diverse. No, you will never get, I don't know, for example, there will never be a Dystopia 2. You know what I mean? Like sounds. What's that noise? Someone calling me. Is someone being an actual dick and calling me?
Maybe it's John.
No, it's Bill Owen of Purgatory.
All right.
Phoning me on Facebook. Wow.
Bill.
Sorry, Bill. We're recording an episode. So sorry. I'll get back to you tomorrow. I promise.
So I'll ask you this. We asked Larry this when he was here on our show last time. If you could do a show with one of the former, since you were just in the Stew days, which one? If you could pick which one would you do?
As in which singer or?
Which singer?
Shit. That would suck. I think it would have to be Matt. I would go for Matt. And, I mean, no disrespect to Ripper at all, because he's still one of my favourite singers alive. But I think it's because of just all the albums that Matt was on. You know, he was on Dark Saga, he was on Burnt Offerings and Something Wicked. It's those hold, you know, the Melancholy, the Watching Over Me, those hold a lot more personal feelings for me, you know, a lot of bloody sentimental value for when I first started as a musician. So I'd have to go with Matt, even though it would be amazing to play with Ripper as well. And I've met Ripper a few times because he's awesome, man. He's such a character.
Yeah.
And he's amazing voice. So yeah, well, I think Matt just edges it.
Now, I'm just going to bring it up. Don't forget John Greeley, he was on Stormrider. Don't forget Gene Adam, he was on the first album.
Yeah, I know. I'm not taking anything away from those guys either. It's just, you know, those my personal sentimental value.
Yeah.
Right.
But, I mean, Stormrider's a classic as well, man. No, it's all good stuff.
Right.
How do you narrow it down? It's 12 amazing albums. I'm hard, of course, but you know.
Well, speaking of albums, after Kourion, you guys did Plagues of Babylon. What was it like going into to the studio? Was any of it written before you were there, or did you guys write it along the way?
No, it was. I mean, it was all written whilst I was in the band, pretty much. I mean, John was sending me demos. I think he sent me I've got it here too. So I've got my cheat sheet here of what songs are on what. So I think he sent me like Plagues of Babylon first. Here we go.
Mine is sealed. Mine is sealed.
Sealed. Oh, I couldn't do it. I needed to open it.
Well, I've got the vinyl.
You gotta look at that gold record.
I got the regular gatefold in silver, so I don't need to open this one. So
okay.
I'm one of those fans that buy multiple copies of
nice
stuff.
I haven't even got that one.
I love this one.
Well, Chuck, you got to send it to him now. He hasn't got one. Come on.
Yeah, well, you know. But he sent me about 5 songs. I think he sent me Plagues, Democide, Among the Living, and If I Could See You First. So that was kind of like my introduction to what the next album was going to be like. So I was like, yeah, okay, this is going to be cool, because it's quite a dark album, I think. I mean, especially the first 6 songs.
I have 3 words for Plagues of Babylon. Yeah, heavy as fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty balls to the wall album. But no, it was a good day when I got those songs through, because it's like, right, finally, because ever since I joined Iced Earth, I was always kind of at John. It's like, so when do you want to hear my riffs, man? You know? let's make an album already. And it was like in the middle of the Dystopia tour still. So he was like, yeah, just calm down. It'll come. So then he asked me, after he sent me those songs, he was asking me for ideas. So I'm like, yes, finally, here we go. So that's when I sent him stuff like The End, So that bass intro bit. And I was over the moon when he replied to me and said, okay, great, I'm going to use this. I'll get back to you in a week. And a week later, he sent me like pretty much the end song.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And you're a talented man to do that in a matter of days or something.
Yeah, John.
Cool.
John speaks very highly of you as well on our interview with him. He said like, you know, he says he's blown away with what you can do on that bass guitar. So
that's good. That's very good. He'll give me a lot of playful banter to my face. But no, it's good, man. Yeah, I love working with John so much in the studio, especially because I feel like he gives me so much direction. He loves what I do, but then he'll just suggest something that is so simple, but then so obvious, and then it just expands. It just makes the bass resonate so much more. And I'm a big believer in less is more, and so is he when it comes to bass and this kind of music. And both of us are definitely on the same wavelength when it comes to that. And when we're recording together, it's like, yeah, it's cool. On the last album, especially, I was very honored because I recorded a few tracks. I did like Great Heathen Army and whatever else, Black Flag. And then he had to go out and do something. And usually he always wants to be in the studio with whoever's recording at the same time when they're recording. So I was like, okay, we can take a break then, right? And then he's like, oh, no, you carry on. I trust that you're going to nail it. And I'm like, whoa, okay. That's a really cool compliment for me. It was very, very nice to hear.
As a musician, my philosophy on music, especially when you're adding to a song, is, you know, don't serve yourself, serve the music, man. You know.
Yeah. Like
you were saying about the things that John would suggest are very simple. Like they're so simple, but I'm guessing they serve the music like, even more kind of thing, you know.
It just rather than doing a little widdly bass bit, it's like a more straightforward, open, bassy thing that just opened up the song more. It just made it feel that extra step bigger. Just little things like that, and he's a genius for it, man, because he's just a songwriting genius, in my opinion. I think he's just so clever with what he thinks about and the interludes and, you know, all the dialogue that goes into, you know, like the Something Wicked trilogy and, you know, all the orchestration behind everything. I think it's so clever, and he thinks about it constantly before we even go into pre-production, and he knows exactly what he wants, and then he just goes in there, delivers it. It's amazing to see. It's magical, man.
Yeah. He told us on when we was chatting to him, he's going through his archives, like all his like stuff he's collected throughout the band throughout the years, and apparently he's got a book of just all his notes for The Glorious Burden.
Oh wow!
All his like what his brain is all, you know, what he's working out. I'm like, someone needs to publish that, man. I want to see, you know, what his brain is doing, like, you know, how he works it all out, because some of the stuff some of the compositions he comes up with are just masterful. They really are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially Glorious Burden, man. There's so much stuff going on there, and that Gettysburg trilogy, it's so impressive. And if he's got all that on a book, Jesus Christ, that's worth a fortune.
Right.
It'd be like, wow. No, I'd like to see that, actually. I mean, I'm going over there in 6 days, so now that I know this. So.
You can tell him, Jason and Chuck from Podcast and Style told me you got this book and I want to see it.
Yeah.
Then you can say to him, do you know I'm in Iced Earth? And you go, yeah, I do.
Chuck, I've been here a couple years now, so yeah.
Chuck, I've spoke a lot, so I'm going to leave the floor to you for a bit to ask some questions.
Talk a little bit about Plagues of Babylon is one of my absolute favorite albums. How excited were you when you were seeing like the Plagues EP and the artwork for this? How excited was you when you started seeing some of that artwork? Is just phenomenal.
I was very, very excited because it's still got that same, you know, obviously it's set on there and whatnot, and it's got kind of cartoon comic book kind of style.
Comic book, yeah.
But with this, it looks a little bit more like an oil painting rather than it.
Sure does.
Else. And I think it's really cool because it's something that I don't think the band has not really done anything like that before. You know, that really dark, sinister look. So for seeing that for the first time and having zombies all over it, I'm a zombie freak when it comes to something like that. So yes, this will do for me. So yeah, he first sent me that. It was like a kind of a dumbed down version of that. So it was just like sketches of like the chains and the zombies and set on his throne. And so it was just every picture he was sending me every week of it progressively getting to this. Very, very exciting. And to know that my name was going to be in this as well. It was incredibly exciting time for me. So yeah, it's something I think it's very cool. I mean, the back as well. It's just the whole thing. And I really liked the touch as well. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen this, but us as zombies as well in the back corner.
Yes, sure.
It was a nice little touch that I wasn't expecting.
Right.
It was cool.
Now, Cthulhu is my favorite track off the album. Do you have a favorite track off Plagues?
I'd say Cthulhu's up there. But I love playing Plagues, the title track. That one's really fun to play. It's got a great groove. The end. It's hard to choose.
It's hard to pick one, right?
Yeah. We play off this album. We play Cthulhu the most, I think.
Yeah.
Jointly, I think that's our favorite track off the album. I'd go with them. Plagues of Babylon, The Culling, The End. I think are badass too. So you hear that? Then I said badass, not badass.
Stop being American, please.
I'm sorry.
Please.
It started already.
You know, Chuck told me we were going to do this interview. I thought, yes, another Englishman, awesome. Now Chuck can suffer some English slang and don't understand anything. But no, you're more American than you can ever be. Damn it!
I'm letting the English flag down here, man.
Speaking of Plagues, I'm just going to butt in for a minute, Chuck. I've got this interesting cover, Mexican alternate cover. It's just Set's face. I just think that's really cool. I think it just looks nice like that.
Yeah.
It just looks.
Yeah, it's cool. I've never seen that. I've never seen that one before.
I hadn't either.
It's licensed. It's under
Scarecrow
license.
Records?
Yeah, Scarecrow Records under exclusive license from Century Media. But yeah. Okay. We've got a bunch of these from Scarecrow Records that are from Mexico, that release exclusively in Mexico. They've got really different packaging from anywhere else in the world and alternate covers and stuff. It's just
right.
I just like that where it's zoomed in. I think it just looks really cool.
It looked pretty cool on a shirt.
I've got that image on the shirt. You sold them on the Plagues tour.
Did we?
No logos, nothing. Just no logos, nothing. Just that face of Set's face.
I do remember that. Yeah,
I've got one. So yeah.
Jeez, I think unless
mine's a bootleg.
I hope I have one. There's so many now. I'm forgetting. Yeah, I do remember that. There it is.
That brings us Incorruptible. Yeah. Now, how more comfortable was you going into the studio with your second album as opposed to the first one?
I was much more comfortable, to be honest. The first, Plagues, I was excited, but also very nervous again. So,
right.
Because obviously the only time that Schaefer's ever heard me play bass was when there's a lot of other stuff going on around. So I really wanted to make sure that I was as tight as possible. So every day that I had, I was always rehearsing the songs, trying to come up with the best bass lines that fit the songs, because he's going to hear nothing but my bass. So I wanted to make sure I was on the money. And I did that. I did my homework. He was happy with it. And then, he was happy with Plagues. And so with Incorruptible, I felt a little bit more relaxed because I've done this before. And I was more excited and anticipated to see the new studio, to be honest. Independence Hall, that is his. And to record Incorruptible. So that was cool. And it's such a cool setup that he has there. It just made it feel even more comfortable. So, and I was very excited because it was another couple tracks that have my input on it, Black Flag and Defiance. So right. I was very happy with this. And I did my homework for all the tracks. So I knew exactly what I was going to bring to the table. And then me and John worked on some other bass ideas for in particular songs and whatnot. So yeah, no, I was much more relaxed than Plagues. But
Okay.
yeah.
I have a quick question. From my ears are old, so I don't know how much credibility my ears have these days. But going from Plagues to Incorruptible, to me, Plagues had a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in that record, and Incorruptible to me is very much just straight up, stripped back, heavy fucking metal.
Yeah.
How did that transition from your first record was Plagues, now you're going into Incorruptible? It's not as, was it still demanding in the studio to do your parts than Plagues, or was it more kind of a bit more simplified because it wasn't as intensive in terms of the songwriting?
I know what you mean. It was there is a big difference between these two albums, but from my point of view, I didn't actually feel much difference in that respect, because I'm still going off this wall of Schaefer's guitars and then the monster behind the drums. So from that point of view, I thought it was okay. It was, it's just, let's play a heavy metal song kind of thing. But for me, I like the straight up, let's just give them some heavy metal punch right in the face that Incorruptible have. But then I also appreciate and love, what we did with the storyline of Plagues of Babylon with those first 6 tracks. It had little, some of the songs had a little bit more of a proggy element to them, a little bit of a touch on that, I thought anyway. And but like you say, Incorruptible is just a bit more straightforward metal album.
I didn't want to use the word watered down, because the album's not watered down in the slightest.
Yeah, but I get what you mean.
It's still a punch to the heart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Seven-Headed Horror, right? That was the first song you dropped, as a single, and I'm listening, I'm like, is the whole album gonna be like this? Holy fuck! Right? It's just like
that's probably easily one of the most intense songs that Iced Earth have ever done. So to give that to everyone first, I thought, okay, this is a statement. This is cool.
Sure was.
Because it's got a lot of old school elements with that song. So I think
there was a lot of, especially from people I know, a lot of people comparing it to like Slayer.
Yeah, with that song especially.
It's very thrashy, very aggressive, in your face, intense.
Just constant. Poor Brent behind that drum kit. Just
he doesn't. I doubt it worries him. He's a god, so you know what I mean.
Yeah. One of my favorite things playing live with Iced Earth is when I turn around to the drum kit and I see Brent, and he always pulls these crazy faces. I mean, and it always brings me back for the first time that I watched Alive in Athens, because every time the camera was onto him, his tongue was sticking out. Yeah. Crazy. And then I get that every time I turn around.
I've kind of taken that kind of persona, not on purpose, but it's through years of watching Alive in Athens and seeing Brent like doing those faces. I kind of get into it and go all like that as well.
Well, man, yeah, he just gets into it so much, and then me and him are always rocking out together. I mean, we're like the friggin', the Toxic Twins on tour kind of thing. It just happens, the bass and the drums, and we're always
they have to be locked in anyway. That's it, man. Like,
and we've built a very cool friendship over the years as well. So we're always hanging. We're always getting bottles of rum after the show or something, and just hanging out. He stays awake the longest as well. He's like the last one to get up, the last one to go to bed kind of thing.
And he's the most animated as well.
And he's the most animated as well. But no, he's such a fun guy to be around all the time. He's just such a dude and a hell of a drummer. He's one of my favorite drummers ever.
I told you, he's like my hero. Like, he's incredible. There's one bit, speaking of Brent, there's one thing that made me laugh. There's a video you put out where you're all like just finished rehearsals and ready to go to Germany. You're all like, we're ready to come to Germany, blah blah all that, yeah. And Stu's like, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm like, okay, that's a good problem. And then Brent just goes, we're gonna get you. I'm like, it was like totally unexpected, right? It was just like, we're gonna get you. I'm like, oh, that's classic. That's great.
It's awesome,
Now,
man. And I
now
like how he
is,
just slips it in there as well. It's just like, yep, there you go.
is he the shortest member? Because he looks like this is the shortest one.
Yeah, he's
'Cause-
the small one.
Because
for sure.
I'm short as well, so
Oh yeah.
I'm like
I don't know
5'4".
how short he is, but yeah, I guess 5'4" or something like that. He's pretty small.
Yes, I think he's taller than me. I think I met him. I think he's slightly taller than me, and I'm not
Oh,
very
really?
tall, so that says something.
Now, earlier you mentioned Black Flag, and
Yeah.
you guys recently dropped a video for that. That is one of the coolest videos I've ever seen. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about the experience of the Black Flag
Well,
video?
it was a bit of a chaotic experience to begin with, actually, because this was in the middle of the summer festivals, and we were playing Italy before, and then we had the weekend off to film Black Flag. That was the plan, anyway. We did this Italian festival. We got it, which was hot as fuck as well. It's like close to 50 degrees. It's like
Wow.
none of us slept or something. It was just
Oh.
crazy. Then we had this really, really early lobby call to go to the airport and catch our flight to. I think we had two flights. We had to fly to Munich and then Munich to Serbia. That's where we shot Black Flag, and our flight got delayed. We ended up missing the flight to go to Serbia, and that was the last flight. So
Oh no.
we couldn't get there. So it's like, oh shit, we're supposed to be filming in the morning. So we had to spend the night in, I think it was Frankfurt, actually. We spent the night in Frankfurt the first day. So then we woke up, did the same thing, got up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to catch a 7:30 at night, 7:30 in the morning flight. And so we're from Frankfurt. We did Frankfurt to Munich. And then the same thing happened again.
Oh no.
The airline was delayed. We're stuck in Munich for the night now. And that day we were supposed to be already filming. So we're thinking, what the hell, man? What are we going to do? So everybody at the film company in Serbia, they just started to film all of the actors and, the extras and everything so that they could just be productive with time. And so we then do the same shit again, get up stupidly early, get a flight. This time it actually managed to get there, but, we were supposed to have like 2.5 days on that film, and we ended up having like 3/4 of a day. So we're thinking, what the hell, man? This is crazy. We've still got like half the film to shoot. So we managed to get a next day flight. So we had like a day and a half in total on it. But we were up at 7 o'clock in the morning through to like 3 o'clock in the evening. It was crazy, man. It was fun. It was really fun, but just getting there, I mean, we might as well have drove rather than just getting all these crazy flights. So from Italy to Serbia, it took us nearly 3 days.
Wow.
It was crazy, man. But
The video came out. The video came out exceptionally well.
Amazing.
It's a great
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
absolutely, it was super worth it. And all the things that we did do, we were working really hard. And the guys over there, they did an amazing job. There were so many people, filming, makeup artists, extras, actors, everything, you name it. And they looked after us really, really well. And I mean, look at the video. It came out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It reminds me of 300 a little way, with slow motion and all that stuff. It's really cool. So it was a hell of an experience.
Were you guys actually on a ship, or was that green screened?
It was green screen. Yeah, the ship.
Okay, I couldn't tell.
There was a lot of props in there as well. So like the barrels and some, big pieces of wood, beer bottles and whatnot. So it was fun. It was very fun. It was cool. And all the swords and shit, we were doing acting, we were swinging from ropes and proper real swords, man. They were heavy and, it's bloody. Actually, Jake cut open. So they were acting. He was pretending to kill him, and somehow the guy got his hand in the way and sliced his finger open.
Wow.
So we're like, shit, why is there blood everywhere? It's like, wow. But the hats off to the guy. He just wiped it off. I mean, it was a deep cut, and okay, let's carry on. it looks really realistic now. So it was cool, man. It was a very cool experience to do.
All right, we wrapped up with Incorruptible, and you got some goodies for us to see. Can you show us that ring?
I mean, I've got a load of vinyl. I've got a load of vinyl here, but I'll show you this. This is probably one of my favorites, actually. So one of my favorite things with joining this band is having me a load of cool shit with our names carved into it or something. So this is like an Iced Earth like big beer bottle holder.
Nice.
So I don't know if you guys can see. So it was all engraved. Good friend of mine in Belgium.
Awesome.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Opened this up, and then it held one of my favorite beers.
Oh, it's got your bass guitar and your name. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a very nice gift. I mean, this is empty now. I drank this a while ago. But no, I thought it was really cool. I mean, the detail on it is really sweet.
Oh, that's awesome.
And at this time,
that's
I was
beautiful.
Bass guitars, so he even got the Fender logo on there. So
Nice.
he carved it all. It was really great.
We've
really
we've been seeing the bracer that Stu's getting made. It looks amazing. Like
yeah. He was telling me about that, and then I saw the pictures on Facebook and Instagram. That was really sweet. That was awesome, actually. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. He'll have that in 6 days. So
wow.
I'm sure he's excited to play with that. And here's my other little goodie, which I showed you guys earlier.
The precious.
The precious.
I want it. Give me the ring, precious.
One day, you're not having this one though. Right? So we got this for everyone who obviously didn't hear us talking earlier. We got these custom rings made from the Great Frog in London. And Jason, you know that place, right?
Yeah, very, very famous jewellery jeweler in London, yeah.
And so they got these custom Iced Earth rings made.
Jesus.
Man, like, I need one. I'm not a ring person,
Yes.
but I just need one because it's got set on it.
Exactly. I don't really wear rings much either. It was just, just cool as hell, man.
Amazing.
The detail is just uncanny. Like, it's incredible.
Absolutely. And it's just so amazing how they've done it. And I don't know. I'll try and. Can you guys see that there?
Oh, I see you've got the Iced Earth
Oh
logo
yeah,
on it.
Iced
Wow.
Earth. Yeah, that's amazing.
Iced Earth logo, Great Frog, and then really tiny here. It's got 004, so number 4
yeah.
basically. So this is the 4th one made. And Schaefer's got the first one, Stu's got the second, Brent's got the third, obviously 4, and then Jake's got the 5th.
Now, I don't know whether you know the information or even if you want to enclose that information, but how much do they cost to make something like that?
Oh,
Too much?
I'm honestly not 100% sure, but I mean, if like Iron Maiden, they do rings for Iron Maiden and Motorhead and Saxon, so I think it goes for a couple £100 or at least, or something like that. So it's quite an expensive ring, really, but well worth it. I mean, this is a very rare thing to have, and it's very nice to be one of the holders of it. So hopefully one day there's going to be, a limited stock of these, maybe 100, 200 or something, 200 pieces. Wow. And so people can get their own kind of thing. But
people are going to go crazy when they see them.
Yeah, man, I think so too.
I feel sorry for the poor fans that can't afford too much. Because, I am, because I posted a picture of my collection. My collection is vast and massive. I've got nearly everything in every format. I've got every album on cassette, every album on vinyl. I've got everything, and people see that and go, "How do you afford this?" It's a collection that's taken like 17 years to build. But you do have these fans that really can't afford everything, and it's a shame because I know there's people that want to collect stuff and get everything. And
it can be a very expensive hobby, really, but it's well worth it eventually. I collect a lot of Iced Earth stuff, but I've nowhere near got all of it.
Are you Are you
Are you a vinyl or CD guy?
More recently, I'm more of a vinyl guy. I've collected.
Us too.
I'm trying to collect as much Iced Earth vinyl as possible. I don't even mind buying it because it's like I'm still a fanboy at the end of the day. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, I got my copy. I got my 2 copies of Incorruptible on the last tour. So I got the.
Nice.
I mean, I love this. This is my favorite, really. The art book.
Yeah.
The art book is amazing.
The art book, yeah, fantastic. I'm so happy with. There it is.
What colour's yours? Is yours gold? Mine's gold.
What colour is? I've got the. Here,
the new orange.
The kind of like orange.
Man,
Yeah.
I want that, but guess what? I won't be able to have it because it'll be sold out before he comes to the UK. Damn it! Because it matches the flames. I want it. Mine's gold.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. This was very. I think it was only. Did he say 100 or 200 pieces of these?
Oh.
And so
I thought it was 200 each.
200. I think. Yeah, 200 probably right.
See, mine's gold. I got the gold version.
The gold. Yeah. My father got just the regular black version. So I kind of feel like I've got 2 copies almost.
I also have the limited 100 copy. It's limited to 100 the clear vinyl of the regular gatefold.
Oh, cool.
Limited to 100 pieces.
Nice.
I did pre-order the limited edition UK green, but Amazon was still selling it even though they ran out of their pre-orders because they're assholes and I hate them.
Ah, dude. Bloody hell.
Don't show bootlegs on
Have
here.
you ever seen this? Have you ever seen this one?
I'm guessing that's Kourion, right?
That's a bootleg.
No, it's a Russian two song bootleg.
Oh,
And
I
it's
can't
got-
see the. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. No, I've not seen that.
this one's clear.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. So what's on it? What show was that from? You say?
It's from St. Petersburg, Russia, in 2/28/14.
Yeah. Sweet. So that
3 of 50.
that was the
3 of
plate
50.
tour. Oh, wow.
And
You look so young. You look so young there.
Yeah. So it's all where it started to go downhill. But so that would have been with Detty and Troy in the band.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool, man. That's very rare. I've never even seen that one before. So where did you get that? Did you find that online?
eBay.
eBay? Cool.
Yep. I only seen it once.
Yeah. Only 50.
Only 50. So
Obviously,
do you have any?
I was just
I
going to
was gonna say, do
say.
you have any albums that you'd? Go ahead, Jason.
Sorry. I was going to just go a disclaimer. We don't condone bootlegs on Podcast in Stone. So yeah, don't go don't sell bootlegs.
Don't.
Yeah.
Don't sell bootlegs.
Also, we've just been-
We don't condone the selling of bootlegs.
If you buy them, you buy them. I've bought bootlegs. I do apologize, but I have. Like, since I'm a fan, curiosity. I can't help myself sometimes. But yeah, we don't.
Do you have any of the vinyls that you're not on? Do you collect those as well?
Yeah. I'm trying to expand the collection a bit. Let me see what I got here. So a lot of these are repressings, but here's Dark Saga.
What color is
Nice.
it? What color is it?
Yeah, it's just black. I'm pretty sure.
See, all my reissues are different colors.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
So-
my Dark Saga's yellow. It looks pretty cool.
Can't get it out for some
Chuck.
reason. Right now.
Chuck's jealous of my different color vinyl.
Yeah, the UK always gets a better variety of colors than the US.
Oh, yeah?
It's because Century Media love Europeans and they hate Americans.
But we get better tour dates.
Oh,
Yeah.
you just had to drop that on me, damn you.
I'm extremely jealous of the Slayer tour dates in North America with Anthrax and Testament and all that.
Lamb of God, Behemoth.
That's only in America, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I will always argue that America gets all the best tours.
It looks at the moment it looks like it, but we'll see. The UK don't.
But America doesn't get Absolva though.
That's true. That's true. We're working on that. We made our first stepping point by my brother going over there with Blaze Bailey So
Okay.
helped. So it's made, it's made a few feelers out there. So we'll see. We'll see. It'll happen one day, I'm sure. We'll see.
Luke, I have a question regarding your collections.
Yes.
Are you one of the 1,000?
One of the 1,000.
I'm speaking of the Enter the Realm demo from 1988.
I'm not one of the 1,000.
Okay.
Are you?
I am, yes.
Okay.
And I got mine extremely cheap. Like £70 I paid for my copy.
Really?
Yeah, that's really cheap. Apparently they go in. There's some that sell for like $1,200 according to John. So
yeah, you can. Yeah, I've heard that. So £70 is a steal, and I'm very jealous.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous you're playing in my favourite band ever. So there you go. We both can be jealous.
We'll call it even.
Yes.
Now, I have a question for you. We were going to get to some viewer questions here in a minute. I'm a huge acoustic fan, and I can't wait for your album. What are the odds of Iced Earth doing a filmed acoustic set? I've wanted that for years. Has there been any talks about it, or do you see it happening at all?
There hasn't really been any talks about it. I can say that. I can definitely see it happening because there's just so many songs that lend itself acoustically
to acoustic,
and that are acoustically. You got friggin' Consequences and Watching Over Me, When the Eagle Cries, all these songs that are just there you go. So I could definitely see it happening, and I think it would be really great. I'd love to do something like that, but I've never had that conversation with him before.
Okay.
Now, I've been holding off and asking people this question because there's a lot of backfire fanfare from it. Now, Luke, it's no secret that John is planning to go back to the back catalogue and record some classic records from the past.
Yes.
Now, how does it feel being a current member of the band, going back to those classic records and re-recording them and doing your bit on them?
It's big shoes to fill. Doing stuff like, looking Something Wicked This Way Comes, Dark Saga, Storm Rider, those albums. It's gonna be incredibly fun. It's gonna be one of the funnest projects ever. However, it's quite a bit of pressure at the same time because I want to do those songs justice.
Yeah.
And the way those bass lines were played, the way the songs were. So there is an element of pressure there, but I'm more excited rather than worried. I think because I have a feeling that we're going to do a really good job on it.
I'm incredibly excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially those first 3 albums where the production was a lot lesser than the rest of the catalog. It was early stuff. It was the beginning of the band. So I'm excited to do all those and hear what it's going to sound like with an Incorruptible kind of production kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm excited for that. But yeah, it's going to be really fun to do. And
now, can you assure people, because there's been a lot of mixed reactions to this news. There's been a lot of people losing their minds, saying you're going to, the band's going to ruin the old stuff. Oh my God, and all this. And John has tried to explain it as best he can, where obviously it's a step you need to take for the band to survive, right? And I respect that, and I'm 100% behind it. I'm going to support it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy them. I'm going to support it as much as possible because I want the band to survive. I'm a fan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you assure the people that the classics will always be there? These are just new, updated versions.
Yeah, that's everything you just said is 100%. So,
but people are just losing their minds a little bit.
Absolutely, you're never gonna lose. You're never gonna lose this. It's always
best album ever.
Yeah, exactly. You're never gonna lose that. Those songs are always gonna be there. Storm Rider is always gonna be there. Iced Earth, the album, that will always be there. We're never ever gonna take those away and take anything from them away because they're all magical in their own right. For the time of those first 3 albums, it was something, just like wow. And then for the classics like Something Wicked and Dark Saga, it's going to be difficult to do, because I know a lot of fans are, because they've spoke to me about it, they think, you know, it's a bad move or something, but you know, it makes a lot of sense for us to do it, and I think it could be something really great. And when people hear what we're going to do, I think they're going to change their minds. I think there's always going to be people who are not going to be happy.
Oh yeah, you can't please everyone, man. Like, that's impossible.
You can't please everyone. It's like trying to decide a set list, for instance. And oh, that's cool, man. Yeah.
This is the reason why I'm very excited for the redone albums, because this version of Dante's Inferno is amazing with Stu.
Absolutely.
Just amazing. So I'm very much looking forward to all the the reissues.
Yeah. That's a great example, actually, because just listen to how badass that sounds. And Stu,
it's amazing.
He does it so much justice, and he did it amazing live as well. So yeah,
absolutely.
Picture that with everything else, kind of thing.
I'm just gonna end this little bit with I'm just gonna echo what John said. With the pedigree of what the band is and what the members can bring, I am 100% trusting in the band that it's going to be incredible, because you are fantastic. Jake is just a beast, like fucking shredding, man. He's insane. Obviously, John is a fucking genius.
He's the man.
Brent, he's like the machine gun behind the double kick and the drums. It's just, and Stu, just like Chuck said, that Dante's Inferno re-recording is incredible, and I just think Stu, I can't wait to hear the old stuff, studio done with Stu singing it. I can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
It couldn't come soon enough. And my argument as well is that it's more Iced Earth. Yeah, it's older stuff, but it's still more, and that's what I want.
We're going to be incredibly busy over the next years, and ultimately it means you're going to get more material from us, and it means you're going to get more releases, more material. It means we're going to be a lot busier, and so who knows? There's been talks about doing a tour dedicated to a specific album. So anything could happen with this, and ultimately it means that you will hear more from us. So that's the way.
Right.
If I was on the fan perspective of this, which I kind of still am, but I'm in the band, If I was on that side of it, I'd be really excited, personally.
It's a very exciting time.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
It's going to be, the next few years are going to be incredibly busy, I think.
I've always said, since Stu joined and since Dystopia, it has been what I would call an Iced Earth Renaissance, because the band has been on fire. Now, I'm not to undermine Matt on Crucible or Tim Dunn with Glorious and Framing, but I just feel that there's just been this injection of just fire into the band since Dystopia, and it's just the band has been on form since, and it's been a great 7 years.
Yeah, man, I agree. Ever since Stu joined the band, there was that spark kind of came, and everything was just going full force. And we were getting more albums, more fucking awesome albums. Dystopia is one of my favorite Iced Earth albums ever. And to hear Stu, I mean, we've just got an amazing singer to fill in those very large shoes to fill, and he's done it and exceeded the expectations, in my opinion. I love Stu's voice. It's amazing on the albums, especially on Incorruptible. I think he's excelled himself incredibly. Just this huge voice just comes out of him, man. It's so cool to hear and to see. And
he's had no vocal training either. It's maddening.
Yeah, it was all just kind of self-taught along the years. I mean, ever since he was young, he found his love and passion for it, and then just gradually this voice just came out of him. I mean his former band Into Eternity, which I'm guessing you guys have heard, where he can do it all. The growling, the falsettoing, the hybrid vocals and shit. It's awesome. It's really impressive to see.
Speaking of vocals,
I was going to say one last comment on the re-recordings. For the preset Abominate albums, do you think that Set will be on the new? Like, let's say you guys did Burnt Offerings. Do you think Set would make an appearance?
Oh, I don't know, actually. That's a good question. He could do maybe just like a subtle appearance, though. Maybe over dominating it, but it depends. It depends what John is imagining right now.
See,
I could just
I've got the
I
imagination.
could just see him
of,
on
like,
that Storm Rider.
like
Yeah.
the
Jackson.
axe, like, you know.
Yeah.
And
There's a million things you could do with that'll look evil as hell and cool as fuck.
Right.
So it could work. It could really. There's so many things that could happen. We'll just have to wait and see. Time will tell.
Fair enough.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm sorry for butting in, Chuck. I was going to say, as we were talking about Stu and vocals, I know kind of firsthand what it's like to try to sing. I'm not a singer at all. I'd done a vocal cover of 10,000 Strong.
Oh, cool.
It's on there too. People seem to have mixed opinions. I'm not a singer, so I'm still learning. But that scream at the beginning.
Yeah.
I've done it. It's a bit off key though. There's a lot of things wrong with my vocal cover because I'm not a singer. I'm learning.
Yeah.
But I've had good feedback, so it's actually all right. But yeah, that scream, like the fact that Stu can do that scream, that's mad.
The thing is, he can do that in his sleep, man. All stuff. Oh, it's crazy, man. It's just nothing. Like, he'll wake up in the morning and then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to bust out a Rob Halford scream. It's effortless. You just see him do that. It's effortless. I mean, he's got a bloody huge bloody voice when he's doing, all the lower stuff and everything, but there's just something that is so natural to him when he just does that falsetto. And it's incredibly loud as well. I have him in my monitors a little bit sometimes, and then when he busts that falsetto, I give each other a look. It's like, whoa, dude.
I'll tell you what. When we're done here, I'll send you a link to my vocal cover. I would like to know your thoughts. You can be as brutal as you like, because I'm still learning. So I would like to I like some constructive criticism. It's fine.
Mate, yeah, you should have heard me when I first started singing, dude. It was just awful. So don't worry about it, man. You got to start somewhere.
Apparently, my falsettos are all right, so that's a good start, I suppose.
Great, yeah.
Anyway, enough about me. I suck. It's about Luke Appleton.
Right.
It's about viewer question time, I think. Do you guys agree? Viewer question time?
Yes. Viewer question time.
First question comes from Christopher Olofsson. What's your favourite album by the band?
Shit.
That's not an album.
I can give you, I'm sure there is an album out there called that. I don't know. I can give you my top 3. Does that make it easy?
Okay.
we can all give our
I'll
top
take it.
3s.
I'll go for Horror Show, Dystopia, and Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Chuck?
Nice.
Yeah.
Chuck, you're
My top 3 is Storm Rider, Saga, and Something Wicked.
Nice.
My top 3 is Something Wicked, Storm Rider, and Dystopia.
Alright, there we go. We've all picked Something Wicked.
It's because it's a masterpiece. It's perfection. That's why. It should be in everybody's metal collection. There you go, I said it. It's better than Master of Puppets. There you go, I said it.
Plagues is growing on me daily.
Yeah, man. I mean, Incorruptible though, man. But I feel like I'm a little bit biased if I say that.
You can't.
Absolutely.
You're not allowed to say that.
Incorruptible is amazing. Okay.
But he can't say
Viewer questions.
He can't say that because he's on it. It's not fair. Anyway. Next question is from. I think this is your friend, Chuck. Ryan. Is that your friend?
Ryan Flawher.
Yes. Did he say to admit his question?
Well, it's already been answered.
Has it?
Wasn't it about the opening band?
No,
Who was going to replace them?
Yeah, it's Sanctuary. Yeah, it's already been answered. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing
Yeah, so we know that one.
Sorry, Ryan, it's already been answered. We know that. Larry Kinnard asks, who do you like to listen to as inspiration when playing bass guitar?
Oh, well, there's a few. I mean, my number one inspiration always is Steve Harris.
Steve Harris.
You can't really beat the master that much. Then I've got others, Geezer Butler, Black Sabbath. Yeah, I like fusing. My aim kind of is a mixture between Steve Harris and Geezer Butler. So I want that 110% energy and, power and just everything that Steve Harris does. And, the cool melodic bass lines in a really fast song kind of thing. And then I love the groove and everything that Geezer does. So my aim as a bass player is to kind of fuse those two together. That's kind of the dream anyway. So, but those two definitely. Geddy Lee from Rush, Dave Ellison, Megadeth, Cliff Burton, Metallica. There's a lot of bass players, that kind of style, So those are my main 5, I would say.
Cool. Adam Ortiz asks, was there a hazing period during the initiation?
What story can I tell here without getting in trouble? There really isn't. Let's just say there definitely was some initiation to a point, I think, and I saw a lot of things that I cannot repeat right now. But yeah, there was definitely a little period at the beginning where some pranks were pulled and some stuff happened.
Nice.
Maybe one day, this is what Schaefer says anyway, maybe one day when we're all dead, we'll tell you all. So we can't get in any trouble.
Fair.
Such is bad life, I guess.
We're angels, really. It's just the halos around our ankles instead of...
JP Kipriani asks, what is the most challenging Iced Earth song to play?
Ooh. Recently, I would say maybe Traveling Stygian. That's, it's pretty technical. It's fun because there's just so many bits and it's just, it's a raging song. Dante's Inferno more than... I don't particularly think the parts are hard to play. It's just remembering the whole song,
right.
The order that it's coming in. Because, it's a beast of a song. So I'd say those two are up there. And
okay.
Some things like Boiling Point, even though, again, it's not a particularly hard song to play, it's just so raging, it can be easy to get time.
Does it bring you to your boiling point, Luke?
Does it bring me? Very good. I can tell you're in. But no, stuff like that, I would say. But every song I love playing, man. So, but yeah, those would be the 3 that come to mind immediately.
Nice.
The last question from viewers, unfortunately, is Ed Matthews asks, what additional instruments do you play other than bass guitar and regular guitar?
Well, I play a little bit. I wouldn't say I'm a master on either of them. I play a little bit of drums and a little bit of keyboard. Again, it's not to the extent of how I play regular or bass guitar. But that's pretty much it. I want to pursue keyboard a little bit more because I actually have a very old organ downstairs in my living room. And so I can just jam away. I can do chords and, like the Exorcist theme tune. So, like stuff like that.
Drive your neighbours mad, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Full cranking volume, but...
They probably think there's like a funeral or something next door.
Yeah, right. My dream is to do on keyboard the intro to The Coming Curse.
Yes.
The greatest piano intro
ever.
If I can do that one day, then I'll be happy.
Now, on the tour you've played in Europe, do you guys play that intro before Coming Curse?
On the last tour we didn't. We just went straight into it. Okay. Prophecy, Birth of the Wicked, straight into Coming Curse. But what we did do on some tours, when we just played Coming Curse, we didn't play the other 2 songs, we actually opened up the encore with that. So, we'd finish on, I think, Question of Heaven or something. We'd leave the stage, give it a minute or 2, and then that piano intro would come in. And people used to go nuts for it. It was
right.
great, yeah.
It's
works.
weird. Like the Common Curse is one of my favorite songs of all time, and it's due in part to that piano bit. Like I don't know how I would feel if you played it without that piano bit, because it's as much as part of the song as the actual song is. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I know what you mean. It just, the way we do it with the trilogy, it's just the momentum's there kind of thing. And if we include that piano bit, the momentum just, I mean, I love the section, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It just, that momentum just drops a little, because I won't give too many spoilers away for the set list, but it'll all go.
Yeah, you're losing a flag back there.
It's me talking about The Exorcist, I think. It's all happening in here. Okay. But no, where was I? Coming Curse. But yeah, it's more of a momentum thing from a live perspective with it.
Okay.
That's coolio.
Now, the last question I have is, when playing bass, do you usually stick with the 5-string, or what is your thought process when picking either 4 or 5?
I always used to be a 4-string guy until I joined Iced Earth, because Schaefer always wanted that low string. Okay. I mean, and I agree with him on this, actually, because it just, if there's lots of, dual twin lead guitar, which are really high, the bass, that low B just keeps that lowness there. And I think it works in a live setting, definitely in the studio, because I think it can add so much more. And I like using 5 strings, but I still use 4 strings as well. I mean, like this was my first bass, actually, that I ever got, and that flag's just going, man. But this is the first bass that I ever got. This is like a Warwick rock bass. I got this when I was probably 11 years old or something. But yeah, this is a 4-string. There's nothing really special to it, but you've got to keep your first instrument kind of thing. But it's nice. It's taken a bit of a beating on the back, but no, it's got me through a lot of gigs in the past. But yeah, for the first few years, I was always on the 4, because with my influences like Steve Harris and Geezer, that's what I always went for. But then I've got things like the 5 strings, and this is actually my latest bass. Actually, this is the first time I've ever showed it anyone. But this is my latest. This is with Court. And I got this as soon as I came back from tour, actually. But this is nice. It's got that Fender Jazz / Music Man thing about it, and it's cool. I'm very excited. I'm going to take this to the States in a few days for the tour. But yeah, I like using both. It's cool having that extra string. It just adds a little bit more what I can do.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So I like both, to answer his question.
Okay.
It's I'm gonna think that's wrapping up. One last question. What can the North American fans expect from this world tour, Luke?
Well, you can expect one hell of a set, a long set, which we haven't done in a while. So this is more like a good 2-hour show. I think the last couple tours that we did, it's been more like 60, 75 minutes, but we've purposely made sure that we're doing an extensive set from almost all eras of Iced Earth, a lot of the latest material from Incorruptible, and expect a heavy balls to the wall set list full of energy. And, we're all very excited for it. We're pumped for it. So expect a show you're going to remember for a while.
Nice.
And to your fellow UK fans, what can you tell them?
Like, including yourself, right?
Yes,
there.
yes.
Well, everyone in the UK, we have definitely not forgotten about you, because we really do want to tour the UK as soon as possible. There's a lot of things being discussed at the moment. It's just figuring out the timing and how logistic everything will be. It's a very international band. That never helps. But, I'm a UK guy myself, so I'm definitely ready to tour the UK again. So it's definitely happening. It's being talked about. It's got to get planned and then set in stone eventually.
nag John, and can you make sure he brings us the 2.5 hours that you were talking about with this American tour, please?
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely on the cards.
Thank you very much, sir. We have been Podcasting Stone. I've been your host, Jason. I've been joined by my co-host, the incomparable Chuck Hoskins. We have, of course, been joined by Ice Surf bassist Luke Appleton. Luke, thank you very much for your time, man. It's been fun.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's great.
Everybody, don't forget to go to lukeappleton.net and order his new CD, How Does It Feel to Be Alive? Get your guitar pick and your signed postcard. Ships what day, or it's out what day in March?
It's going to be out on the 9th of March, but if you pre-order it, you may get it a little bit early. So
nice.
Get on it,
don't forget to go to that. Order it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I've said in this stream, or whatever you want to call it, this video, it's a great time to be an Ice Surf fan. North America tour coming up, and other things in the future. So be sure to like the Podcasting Stone page on Facebook, facebook.com/group/Podcasting Stone. It's the place to be, to mingle with other like-minded Ice Surf fans, and to chat to members like Matt Barlow, former members like Matt Barlow, Gene Adam, Bill Owen from Purgatory. I'm sure Luke will join us at some point, so I'm sure Luke will be there. Get on it. Subscribe. What's that?
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all.
Awesome. So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you have not. We're at 184 subscribers. We're on that road to 500 subscribers. So if you've not subscribed, it's a great time to do so. We've had interviews with John Schaefer, Matt Barlow, Gene Adam, Randall Shulver. The list goes on. We've got so many more interviews to come. We've got our retrospective series to come as well with Framing Armageddon next. So look forward to that. Thank you everyone for your support. Luke, thank you again for coming on. It's been awesome. We have been Podcasting Stone. We will see you next time. Metal lives.